downshift. We're in second gear. The sport mode makes this so much more fun.
So you just picked up a G37 and you want to learn how to use the paddle shifters without damaging anything on your engine or your transmission. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we have the G37 with us, and this is the sport models, which means it does come with the paddle shifter. This video works even if you have the G35 or the Q50, but in my example I have the G37 here, so we're going to use that. Now if you're in the market to get the G37 or Q50, G35, you need to make sure you get the S model, like this one right here, because those are the only ones that come with the paddle shifters. But yeah, I've been driving this G37 using the paddle shifters, and it's been incredibly fun to drive. And learning how to really master how to use the paddle shifters can be very helpful in order to make your G37 a lot more fun to drive than you're used to. Now, of course, there are a couple of things you have to be careful with so you don't damage anything in your engine or the transmission. So this video will walk you through how to upshift, how to downshift, and basically really enjoy the car without worrying about damaging anything on your car. With that being said, let's hop into the car. We'll give you a little bit basic overview of the paddle shifters real quick, and we're gonna go out on the road to really use the paddle shifters. All right, so we are in the car, and you can see this one has the paddle shifters. So you've got minus here and plus here. The minus is going to be used for downshifting, while the plus is going to be used for upshifting. So those are the two main things you have to know. Obviously, to downshift, you got to press the left side, and to upshift, you're going to have to press the right side. Now, we're going to cover how many RPMs you have to shift at in terms of upshifting, and what do you have to be careful with when you're downshifting to do not over rev the engine. We're also going to cover the differences between drive mode paddle shifters and also sport mode paddle shifter, because depending on which mode you're in, the paddle shifter is going to behave slightly differently. With that being said, let's get on the road and use the paddle shifter on the G37.
Alright, so we're out on the road now, and to activate the paddle shifters, you can just press either of the paddle shifter, either plus or the minus. Currently, I am in drive mode, as you can see. So I'm not in sport mode. I'll show you how to use it in sport mode as well, which is actually more fun. But we're going to start in drive mode, show you how to upshift and downshift, and we're going to go to the sport mode as well, which is actually even more fun than this. Okay, so we're going to start with upshifting first. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the paddle shifter. So when we go ahead and make this U-turn, we're going to show you how to upshift. The red line on this car is about 7,500. So as long as you shift before 7,000, you're fine. But we're going to try to shift it 3,000-4,000 RPM if you're just getting started, just so you don't damage anything or you miss your shift and cause additional damage to your engine or transmission. As you can see, I'm in third gear now. RPM's climbing, shift to fourth, fifth, and we can go up to sixth. This is a 7-speed transmission, so we can do one more and get to 7th gear. Now I'm going to go ahead and downshift so you can see how the downshift is going to work. So right now we're about 1500 RPM. We can drop it to 5th, which will increase the RPM just slightly, but a couple more time. And downshifting is where the fun's at. So we're in 4th gear, drop it one more, comfortably at 3000 RPM, and the car pulls. We'll do one more, and then as you can see, since we're in drive mode, we didn't use the paddle shifter enough. It reverted back to automatic shifting. So that's one of the good things in the drive mode, that you can kind of revert. But to activate it again, you just press it this, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and let's just upshift around 5,000. And now we're in 5th gear now. So as you can see, that's how you would upshift. So as long as you're doing it before 7,000, you're more than fine. Now I'm in 5th gear. I'm not going to use the paddle shifters for a little bit, so you can see how it reverts back to drive. So we're in 5th gear right now, just cruising around. And once it sees that I'm not actively using paddle shifters, it will go back to drive. And as you can see, it went back to drive. So now it's fully automatic shifting. So that's one of the good things. If you're just getting started with the paddle shifters, I would recommend just doing it drive mode. That way, if you kind of forget to shift or forget that you're in paddle mode, it kind of reverts back when it sees it that you're not using it, and you kind of avoid any damage to your engine or transmission. Now we're going to go ahead and switch to sport mode, where the fun's at in terms of enjoying this car with the paddle shifter. So let's do that, and we're going to gun it and use the upshifting and downshifting. And I also want to have a clip where you can just kind of see me use the paddle shifters, upshifting and downshifting without talking, so you can kind of see how the RPMs act and how the car behaves as I upshift and downshift. So let's try a sport mode right now. So now you can see we're in DS, which is the sport mode for the G37. So we're going to make this U-turn again and then get on the car a little bit in sport mode. The fun part is the throttle is actually sensitive in the sport mode, so you actually enjoy the car a little bit more. And then of course the paddle shifters are going to actually stay in manual mode until you snap out of it. So it's not going to be like drive, where if you're not using paddle shifters, it will revert back. So this is more enjoyable for me at least. Now we're in DS. Let's downshift. We're in second gear. The sport mode makes this so much more fun. The paddle shifters, you get to stay in the manual mode, but also your gas pedal is a little bit more sensitive, so you get better throttle response. So now we're in forward. Let's downshift so you can see 4,000 RPM, and stays there. But we can upshift down to up to 4 now. Now 5th gear and 6 now. So for upshifting, you want to just do it before 7,000. For downshifting, you just want to be careful where you don't over rev it. So as long as you're around 3,000 RPM or so, you can downshift and you won't really damage anything. But if you're already at like 5,000-6,000 RPM, you don't want to downshift and cause any issues. So now we have a good bit of stretch over there. So I'm gonna not talk. We're gonna leave in sport mode. We're just gonna shift manually, and just so you can see how the upshifting just so you can see how the paddle shifters work for the upshifting, downshifting. And you can see because we're in sport mode, it's in first gear as opposed to going back to drive. So this is gonna pick up from first gear, and let's do that. But yeah guys, that's how you use the paddle shifters on the G37. You have the drive mode and the sport mode. Drive mode is probably a little bit more conservative, and I would recommend that if you are just starting out, you're not sure when to shift, because drive mode will shift for you even if you're revving it out and you forget to upshift, or it won't let you downshift if it's going to result in an over rev of your engine. But sport mode is where it's truly manual mode, and you get to control whenever you want to shift. If you forget to shift, it's not going to be pretty. So I would use the sport mode once you're kind of a little bit more advanced. But yeah, just using the sport mode and the paddle shifters on the G37, it makes it very fun to drive in the sedan. It's got 328 horsepower, so you get to actually rev it out and feel all the 7,500, 7,400 RPM red line with all the horsepower it's got. So I hope this video is helpful in terms of how to use the paddle shifters on your G37. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. And of course, comment below if you have any questions for the paddle shifters on your G37. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.